Right, okay. This is the book. I'll just kick off straight into it. I'm going to have to do it in small segments because YouTube's a bit of an arse for how big the videos you put on, so I'll do 5-minute sessions probably. Try and stop it at a decent point. So, here we go, the book. Chapter 1. Uncouth Beginnings. Arthraeus' entrance into the world was not the most pleasant one. It was a dark and stormy night. A blizzard lashed against the windows of the small shack-cum-cottage where his parents made their home. His father, Brockfort, was a knight from the north, standing 10 feet tall with his long, dark hair, his face scarred and battered from many battles won and lost from his bloodthirsty past. He looked down at the love of his life, the meaning for his existence, and yearned for her pain she was suffering to stop. It was not supposed to be this way. When he first came to Avalon, Brockfort travelled north immediately. He did not care for people and the attention of others, especially after all he'd been through. Also, the men of the north have the desire to be in cold, harsh places. It is in their blood from birth. If they get too hot, they're just moodier than usual. He travelled in a boat from Fort Lytessa after being cleared to enter the realm. As a refugee from the north, and of sound mind, he was allowed to enter. Avalon is protected, as it has been for centuries, by a large force field created and maintained by 10 wizards. Everyone who enters is screened at either Fort Lytessa or Fort Bornata. If you don't check out, you're either deported out again or thrown in the sea. Brockfort did not mind boats. Men of the north have used boats for 3 ages on many attacks into the lower lands. To be fair, though, this was the prettiest boat he had ever been on in his life. Run by dwarfs, the little steamer chugged along at a quick pace. 2 large paddles on either side drove the craft, spinning round and round, churning up the calm water. Brockfort sat on a comfy leather bench with his own table and looked around him. The boat was painted in white and blue on a grand scale. Pictures hung on the wall, carpets throughout. A small goblin wobbled over to him, wearing what looked like a tuxedo. The goblin stopped short, looked up at him, and raised his bony green finger. Just as he was about to speak, Brockfort gave a grunt and stared into the puny creature's eyes. The goblin closed his mouth and lowered his finger. He looked at Brockfort over a long, wart-ridden nose and said, "Sorry to bother you, sir, but could I get you anything?" Brockfort was shocked. The little goblin spoke with such elegance. The only goblins he had met before squealed before he popped their skulls. "Nothing, thank you," replied Brockfort in his deep, gruff voice, not wanting the goblin to notice his shock at the creature's ability to be so polite. "Very well, sir. Dinner is served at 8 o'clock sharp, and we arrive in Northrend at 7 tomorrow morning. Here is your room key." The goblin clicked a small key with the number 11 written on it off his belt and stretched it in the direction of the dark figure. Brockfort did not move. The goblin placed the key gingerly on the table and took 2 steps back. "Have a good journey, sir. Thank you for travelling with us. Remember, if you need anything—" "Nothing, thank you," repeated Brockfort. The goblin turned and strolled away with a bow. When he awoke the next morning, Brockfort looked upon something of which the likes he had never seen. Having opted out of his room aboard the vessel, as he was not a man of comfort, and certainly not a man to take things from strangers, he found himself lying on the roof of the boat, using his pack as a pillow, looking up into the sky at tall towers reaching up as far as the eye could see. He had reached the city of Northrend, home and capital to the Order of Wizards. Any wizard may set up their home here. It is a city filled with magic. Brockfort did not like magic. He left the city immediately.